Of a flat Earth. Let's go back a little bit earlier when I asked you about the stars. Can we or can't we see them from space? I mean, being that we cannot get the answers ourselves, we need you, the astronauts, who are paid by us to tell us the truth. And you know, here's something that no one seems to understand. In space exploration, which is funded by the people of the world, and where it is not possible to have independent witnesses of the actual events, we as people have every right to expect the record to be 100% genuine, honestly portrayed, and honestly represented. So I ask you again, can we see stars in space? Let's ask some astronauts.
Whilst
from Mark Cameron. This is from Mark Cameron.
Whilst in space, have you ever looked away from Earth into the black void?
Yeah. So because you can see, you can see the stars.
Oh yeah.
You know, and pretty much all the time you can see the stars.
Yeah. It's not a black void. I mean, it's black, but there's all kinds of little polka dots.
There's all the stars there, and the cool thing is about it, you can see it during the day.
Yeah, you can, and there's more than stars. You can see planets. You can see moons.
You see the gas. Magellan clouds of the Milky Way
you see
galaxy.
The Magellanic Clouds.
Magellanic, see, I was...
Yeah.
All right, interesting. So we can see stars from the day side or the night side of Earth.
We went up, and when you're in space and you're looking into deep space and you're on the sun side of the orbit, the sunlight washes out all the starlight, so you can't see any stars, just like here on Earth. But then when you look out into deep space away from the sun, it's the darkest black you can imagine, right? And so what happens is you really lose your depth perception. You can't tell if something's close by or far away, and so
because you can see, because you can see the stars.
Oh yeah.
You know, and pretty much all the time you can see the stars.
Yeah. It's not a black void. I mean, it's black, but there's all kinds of little polka dots.
There's all the stars there, and the cool thing is about it, you can see it during the day.
Yeah, you can.
The sunlight washes out all the starlight, so you can't see any stars, just like here on Earth. But then when you look out into deep space away from the sun, it's the darkest black you can imagine, right?
Like, are they just brighter than on Earth, or how would you describe it?
They're brighter, but they're different. A lot of things different about it. One, you don't have the atmospheric distortion, so they don't twinkle, right? So you see lots of points. And you see lots of points, and that literally millions of them. You know, there's, you know, the thing about Carl Sagan, billions of stars. There really are billions and billions of stars, and you can see them. In fact, they're so numerous, it's very difficult to pick out the constellations you and I see here on the ground.
Mr. Armstrong, I do realize that when you were on the moon, you had very little time for gazing upwards. But could you tell us something about what the sky actually looks like from the moon, the sun, the earth, the stars, if any, and so on?
The sky is a deep black when viewed from the moon, as it is when viewed from cislunar space, the space between the Earth and the moon. The Earth is the only visible object other than the sun that can be seen, although there have been some reports of seeing planets. I myself did not see planets from the surface, but I suspect they might be visible.
Because you can see, because you can see the stars.
Oh yeah.
You know, and pretty much all the time you can see the stars.
Yeah. It's not a black void. I mean, it's black, but there's all kinds of little polka dots.
The Earth is the only visible object other than the sun that can be seen, although.
So you see lots of points. And you see lots of points, and that literally millions of them. You know, there's...
The sunlight washes out all the starlight, so you can't see any stars, just like here on Earth. But then when you look out into deep space away from the sun, it's the darkest black you can imagine, right?
The sky is a deep black when viewed from the moon, as it is when viewed from cislunar space, the space between the Earth and the moon.
And there's more than stars. You can see planets. You can see moons.
You see the gas Magellan clouds of the Milky Way galaxy.
Yeah, you see the Magellanic Clouds.
Magellanic, see, I was...
Yeah.
So, Sergey, I mean, I have to ask people, how is it that they believe the bullshit that has come from NASA, Roscosmos, and the other space agencies? Don't we deserve the truth? Tell me, Sergey, who is it that pays your salary? Who pays for your rockets? Who pays for the Soyuz? Who paid for the ISS? Speaking of things that you should be able to see from the ISS through a telescope, if you only had one up there, but But I guess you're too busy sending up NFL jerseys, footballs, and gorilla costumes to worry about other things like a telescope. But what about Venus? Yeah, Venus, I just recently, just to show you a little reason why we doubt the space agencies, went to Universe Today to learn a little bit about Venus. So I went to Universe Today, which is pretty respected in the astronomical world. And what did I find? Well, here is a picture of Venus as imaged by the Magellan 10 mission. It says below it, the planet's inhospitable surface makes exploration difficult. So as we continue to scroll down, we can see some other pictures of rocks. Wow. And they must be real because they have letters and numbers on the bottom of them. From 1975, no doubt. 43 years ago, you sent a craft to Venus, and it took photos in this inhospitable place, and then I guess used its 1975 Internet Space Wi-Fi to transport these images 25 to 250 million miles or so. Sounds believable. As we keep scrolling, we see another image of Venus. This is the Mariner 10 image, and it's blue. Yeah, blue Venus, even though we scroll back up here and see the other image was red. Yeah, I should just believe whatever you say, right? So I hope you will quickly see why we questioned it all. And Sergey, let me just tell you, your agency, along with NASA, have filled the heads of the public with lies, with distorted truths, with fisheye lenses, and impossible feats that we are all supposed to believe just because you say so.